You want to give me a word? You want to have me give you one word that describes Natalia to me? Enigma. She won't tell us the truth of who she is. We are living with a con artist, sociopath.
Now a story making headlines around the world. Is this a child or a grown woman?
The Barnetts believe the adoption was a scam all along.
They claim they were tricked into adopting an adult.
She's evil. I promise you, within 5 years, someone's dead.
What is it? Why?
She threatened to stab my sons, drag their bodies outside, and bury them under the deck. She tried to poison and kill my wife.
Bye-bye. She said, I pulled a knife on my parents. Big deal.
It's like a serial killer or something. It's how casually they put attempted murder into a conversation.
She was gonna kill everybody.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie, right?
If you watch The Orphan, it's just like The Orphan.
Did you want to hurt him?
It's all gonna come to light.
She was an adult. You could tell by looking at her.
Natalia was a victim. The Barnetts are the predators. They just literally left her to the wolves.
I don't know that there's 100% one villain here.
Christine basically said that Natalia destroyed their lives.
We're in deep, deep trouble.
Regardless of her age, she was left feeling abandoned and neglected, alone.
Natalia was a child. I know that for sure because I'm a little person.
I think Christine Barnett is a sorry excuse for a mother.
Natalia, you still need to be on your wall.
When I found out what happened to her, that was what broke my heart the most.
There were a lot of secrets in that house.
His minimum sentence is 3 to 16 years.
It doesn't smell right. There's something wrong. Oh, it smells like
Do you know the difference between the truth and a lie?
I didn't at the time, no.
No, you didn't.
I was just listening to what Christine told me to tell them.
You just don't know that you're Barnetts.
There was domestic violence.
They will do anything to get what they want.
There were all these pieces to a puzzle that we couldn't quite put together.
You're saying you lied because she told you to lie.
Yes.
Michael and Christine not only lied to get her into their family, but they also lied to get rid of her.
This is one of the most twisted cases ever.
I know he's not the kind of guy that could do well if he had to go to prison.
You got a seatbelt? Buckle up.
I don't think anyone will ever get the complete truth.
So much of this is a mystery.
I still don't have concrete answers.
Somebody's not telling the truth.
It is a web of lies.
I'm not sure you can trust anybody in this case.
We were all abused. We were all abused. I'm so scared. This will never stop.
I hope I don't overstate this and make it seem a little bit too Norman Rockwell American life, but life was fantastic. It really was.
This is summer 2010.
Life's great. Been married for about 15 years. We have 3 sons, Jacob, Wesley, and Ethan. Financially, we're doing great. We've got a literal brand new McMansion, 5,000 square foot home in a prestigious town. Got a driveway loaded with cars in it. There's a Lamborghini in my driveway, for God's sakes. We have 13 TVs. We've got 14 couches. There was hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank account. More importantly,
we were in a very tight-knit family. It really was the pinnacle of life.
Michael loved Christine dearly. When the flowers came for their anniversary, it was a dozen roses for every year they were married. So for their 10th anniversary, 10 dozen roses.
Christine and I, we could do anything together. And when we realized our oldest son, Jacob, has Asperger's or autism, we fought those fights. We were downright amazing at the things we could accomplish.
I'm Jacob Barnett, here with an introduction to scientific notation. I figured that since I was teaching it to my two brothers, Wesley and Ethan, I would be able to post it onto YouTube.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this integral, d by dx.
Their oldest son is a genius and was moving through schooling faster than I moved through a pair of shoes.
I did not come here to frighten you all with quantum mechanics. Not yet.
We would get a message from Michael saying, hey, did you see the paper? Jake's on the front page. To Christine's writing a book. It's been picked up by a publisher.
The cube divided.
He has a full scholarship at the joint Indiana University-Purdue campus. For Jake, fun is reciting from memory the infinite series of numbers known as pi.
3.1415926535897932384626433.
Jacob's one of the smartest people I've ever heard of. They're traveling the world.
Jacob, when he was 15, got an award from the Vatican.
This was where the Barnetts lived. The garage was where Christine Barnett had her daycare. They were all special needs kids.
The Barnett family opened up a foundation, a place where parents and kids with autism could go be with other parents and kids with autism and feel normal.
We were proud of them, and they just seemed so happy together. The Barnetts had the picture-perfect life, it seemed.
So we went from early 2010. We're blessed with many things. By the time 2014 came around, I have 37 cents in my bank account. I have no wife. I have no children. I have no home. I have no job. My possessions at that moment was my car and a backpack of clothing. If Natalia never entered our lives, I never get divorced.
Everything on Natalia, they ruined our marriage. They interviewed me 3 times with a detective in a bulletproof vest.
What? What are they going to charge you with?
Jail. This was not Westfield PD. This was like, you have committed a crime and we're about to lock you up.
Christine,
I'm
listen to my...
telling you that I protected you from that. I did.
Christine, listen to my voice.
It'd be very good if you just quit talking. Quit it. We're in deep, deep trouble.
We had no idea what we were dealing with, and tensions were so incredibly high. It was a very rough time, especially for the children.
I'm Jake Barnett. Since I've last been seen publicly, in some ways, I think I've regressed. I'm in my dad's basement right now. It's in Indiana. Usually I say Natalia is my adopted sister, so then I guess I would say I'm Jacob, I'm Natalia's adopted brother. But that particular way of introducing myself is kind of irrelevant because I haven't seen Natalia in like a decade. I find the situation incredibly confusing. It's like I want to know what happened and I want to know the actual like truth and everyone's motives, but at the same time, I don't want to remember that, and I don't want to have to revisit a lot of trauma from my childhood. It's difficult for me to piece together what happened with adopting Natalia.
Before Natalia, we had been married for about 15 years. It's easily the best moment in time that our marriage ever had. We were so happy and comfortable that we had gotten to the point that, you know what, we started talking about maybe maybe there's room here for somebody else. We were going to adopt a little girl out of Haiti named Gilberta. And right before that April, the earthquake hit Haiti. And suddenly our hopes were dashed because Haiti shut down all adoptions out of the country. So we were ready to adopt, but we missed our window. And then we get this phone call out of nowhere from this adoption agency in Florida called Adoption by Shepherd Care. They say, hey, we know you. We've seen your home study. We know that you have a charity for special needs children. You've been doing that for a decade. We think you'd be perfect for this little girl that's going to be coming to us. She's a little person. She has dwarfism. Now, here's the problem. You got 24 hours to decide. And if you don't come get her on Monday, she's going directly to foster care.
Christine and I almost took it as a sign from above. Now we're jumping on a plane, flying to Florida. It's exciting.
When I found out I was going to have a sister, I was really excited. We had some white T-shirts that we painted on saying, "Welcome home, Natalia."
We pull up in the town, and I'll be honest, I was a little taken aback by the adoption agency location. It was in a rundown strip mall, maybe on the wrong side of tracks.
Little house that's been converted into offices.
Didn't look like an adoption agency at all. First thing I'm saying to my wife is, check the address. This just doesn't look right. We're gonna get a child here? So we start coming in, and they sit us into a little room, no bigger than the size of this room we're in right now, and they tell us, just wait here, Natalia's coming soon. And you've got to understand, with it being a closed adoption, the adoption agency was not willing to share any details of her before we came down. They gave us 2 pictures of her. They gave us a Ukrainian language birth certificate. Birth certificate supported 6, September 4th, 2003. We were all excited about that. My youngest son was 6. He was also born the summer of 2003. We thought this was going to be a situation where they're going to grow and develop and be twins.
We're in there for about an hour by ourselves.
We sign paperwork pretty quick. Sign here, sign here, sign here.
We hear the front door open. That's got to be her.
We start peeking through the keyhole. There's a little itty bitty keyhole. It's a solid door, and we're looking and we're looking.
Like, oh, can I see her? I was really excited for her to come home.
About 20, 30 minutes go by, and we can see the door open, and we can see the other family leave.
Because she was adopted before. This is her family that adopted her the first time.
Natalia's left behind. They had flown in, dropped her off, flew out.
We never spoke to them, and we are just thinking, how dare these other people give up on her.
And we've been worried for the last couple of days, worried sick, that our new daughter's not going to like us. And the next thing you know, the door opens. Natalia's right there. She comes running in. She got this big smile on her face. She's happy as can be. And she's shouting, "Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy." We're overcome with joy and emotion. Oh my gosh, that day in and of itself, without context, is one of the 5 greatest days of my life.
She was very small. She had long, curly brown hair. She had brown eyes of pronounced cheeks that really stood out when she smiled. I remember the way that her hands are jointed is not the same as ours because of her dwarfism. Like her fingers, like sort of bent in a bit, like this. But I was overjoyed the day that I met her. The fun times I can remember with Natalia are pretty much from that first week where we were in Florida. We went with Natalia to Disney World. We were all excited to have her in the family, and Natalia seemed happy to join our family.
If I was a little girl needing to be adopted and they came for me, heck yeah, jackpot.
So we get to the hotel that night, And Christine's going to give our brand new daughter a bath. And I hear a shout from the bathroom. This was a "I'm not playing around, come here right now, Michael" shout. I get up, I go fly into the bathroom, and the color's almost gone from her face. It's almost like she's seeing a ghost. She's truly frightened, and she just doesn't know what she's seeing and what's going on. She says, Michael, look down. And Natalia had full pubic hair. And I don't know what to think. Is that possible? Is that even possible?
Who the is this person?
Can a 6-year-old have full pubic hair? I don't know. Google's telling us, well, earliest possible time, lowest common denominator, 8. So we just go, okay, look, our mission, we were going to show love and compassion to somebody that never had it before. That doesn't make a difference.
I'm Kathy Barnett. I'm Michael Barnett's mother. When I found out that Natalia was coming, I was so excited to treat this child special. When they brought her home, they had a very large party to welcome her. She was dressed up in a dress. She had beautiful curly dark hair. And Michael was euphoric that day. It was almost as euphoric as the day Jacob was born and Michael came out of the delivery room. He was a happy man.
You want that? Here you go. Go sit and chew. Go show him. My name's Kimberly Franklin. I am Michael Barnett's little sister. When I first met Natalia, I was, totally prepared. I knew that she was a little person. And what really struck me, though, was that she almost looked like one of us. She had the dark hair. And she really looked like she could have been my brother's daughter.
My name's Rachel, and I live 2 doors down from the Barnetts, where they used to live. Nosy neighbor, that's me. I like to know what's going on in the neighborhood. We were friends with Michael and Christine, and our kids played together. Everybody knew who Natalia was. I have goosebumps just thinking about when they walked in with her. It was amazing. It was so uplifting to know that this little girl needed a home, and they opened theirs up to her.
Hi, Natalia. Hi.
And Christine was smiling, ear to ear. They were so excited. They have 3 boys. They got a girl.
I was looking forward to seeing how she'd react to the park we had across the street.
Here's their yearbook. So there's Ethan, and there's Grace. Natalia came to our house a lot to play with my daughter Grace because they were both 6, first grade. Here's Natalia. It's crazy. She's so cute in that picture. She looks like a sweet little girl.
Once we got back to Indiana, at first there was an acceptance of the situation with Natalia and the pubic hair. All that mattered was there's a little girl that needs love and needs a home.
But eventually we had a lot of escalation going on in the first few months that we had her. There was a day I came home from work. Christine's got a pair of Natalia's underwear. Christine asked Natalia to tell me what's going on.
Natalia, tell Dad it happened.
Okay.
And I can remember her physicalness at the time. Her hands were just out in front of her like this. And she said, well, I have a period, and I've been hiding it. And I just don't know what's going on right now.
Christine, that's not possible. Chris found some socks
that she had used in her underwear and threw them out the window. Chris was just mortified. She said, "This isn't normal. What have I got myself into?" And so I said, "We need to start finding out how old she is."
I heard she had pubic hair when they first got her, and that they found like period underwear hidden in her room. So that would be the thing that, as you know, not a doctor, as a layman, I'd be like, yeah, that's definitely not a 6-year-old.
Stand up.
After we'd first gotten Natalia, and we started taking her to doctors, within 2 months of getting her, Natalia needed foot surgery because of her condition.
Natalia has a very rare form of dwarfism, spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia. There's only about 3,400 people like that on this planet, we were explained by doctors. It just so happened, miraculously, that a doctor knew another 6-year-old girl with a spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia living in Indiana. We were stunned. We're going to have her meet and interact with somebody just like her. How great is that? The other girl comes in. And for lack of a better term, Natalia is gigantic compared to this other girl. Their cranial structures are different. Natalia, she's got the full forehead of an adult. She's got defined cheekbones as an adult. The other girl, her head is not developed at all. There's no way anybody could look at this picture and say those two are the same age. So when Natalia sees this person that should be close to the mirror image of her and realizes we see it, suddenly she fills her cheeks with air, blows them out a little bit so the definition in her cheekbones disappears. So that starts to happen. We literally see her head change. It's almost like you got me.
My name is Elva Reyes. My daughter's name is Therese. She has dystrophic dysplasia, as the same as Natalia. I was hoping, that a long friendship, where they can grow up and, she has somebody to be able to talk about things. I mean, it's not, something that she has to feel like she's the only one in the world. But later on, when we met for the play day, immediately Natalia looks physically, it's really well developed. My first impression, like, your face doesn't look like a little kid. Can't really say an adult, but at least a teenager. And I was like, huh. So, yeah, and she was very vocal talking, like she can carry a conversation very well, like didn't have no issue. I was like, wow, they teach her very good English. A very smart kid for a 6-year-old.
I am Therese, and I am 14 years old. I was 6 years old when I met Natalia. It's pretty rare to see someone who has a disability like me, and I wanted to be friends.
I have a picture of you guys. If I could show it to you and just let me know what you think.
Definitely, I don't think she looked the same age as me. I had that baby look to my face, and as she had kind of gave me like an older kind of face look to it, but yeah.
And looking at that, do you think Natalia looks as old as you do now?
I think she definitely looks like she's at least 18, 20-ish. It definitely looks weird to think about. I was playing with actually an adult, not a kid my age that I would feel comfortable with. If she faked her age, I feel like that's weird to think that I was around someone who did that.
She's not 6. We had no idea what we were dealing with.
To them, it would have looked like they brought their little girl to a play date with a grown-up. And they never reached back out again.
Natalia told us very little about her time growing up in the Ukraine, her time in the orphanage. I don't recall her having any belongings from the orphanage, I don't recall her having any Ukrainian toys. She didn't seem to know very much about Ukraine. One point early, we asked her, oh, what's it like in Ukraine? And she said, oh, it's always summer there. And I'm like, okay.
Natalia, you want to tell us something?
I forget the part that you guys never heard.
You forget what we never heard?
Yeah, heard.
It's okay. It's all right.
We adopted Natalia because we wanted to help somebody who was in danger of never being loved.
But every time we ever spoke to Natalia about, hey, tell us about the orphanage, tell us about people you've known, nothing.
So we had asked her about the Ukrainian language before. Matter of fact, at the rec center where we had our sports league for the autistic kids, one of the neighboring tenants happens to know somebody who was born and raised in the Ukraine.
We thought, how wonderful would it be for you to hear your native language, your native tongue for the first time in a couple of years. The woman from the Ukraine comes in and just immediately starts speaking Ukrainian. I swear on all things holy, Natalia's never heard a word of Ukrainian in her life.
But you were there until almost 5, and we've got you at 6.
There was a set of things that didn't add up.
We started early in the morning.
Natalia had no accent.
We're going close.
She didn't know the Cyrillic alphabet. She knew no Ukrainian.
Ukrainian lady starts speaking Ukrainian to Natalia. Not a word.
I think she knew if she spoke immediately that we'd put 2 and 2 together, and here there's no accent. She doesn't know this. Didn't speak a word for 4 days. It's almost like the jig is up, the little playful kid face goes away, and now we've got we don't know who she is. We don't know where she's really from. For all I know, she had been living in the Ukraine for 20 years and found a way out. For all I know, she's an American citizen that somehow got this to happen. I truly don't know.
Okay, so you told me some things that were not true.
The dynamic between Natalia and the rest of the family seemed to shift pretty early. There was a lack of trust. So that, compounded.
So you lied to him. Okay, so that's what you're going to be in the most trouble for. You don't lie.
Natalia did have behavioral issues, which certainly the adoption process it must be traumatic. I mean, abandonment issues are a thing, and Natalia was abandoned multiple times. She was with another family in America before she came with us.
Natalia was with us 4 months. And that's when we start to witness her dark side.
We had a 2007 Jeep Commander. It has 3 rows of seats. But Natalia would always try to sit next to my youngest, the smallest, my 6-year-old Ethan. And she would do whatever she could to upset him. She would purposely wait until she was next to him in the car, and then she would do her best to urinate on him. She would defecate in the car and put her hand into it and try to smear it on Ethan.
Yeah, it was a frequent occurrence for Natalia to soil surfaces that she wasn't supposed to.
What were you doing to bother Ethan?
I was farting.
Did you keep doing it while you were in the car with him?
That was the life my 6-year-old son had. To get into the car was like going through the haunted house. And, another thing, if we went someplace in public and she made eye contact with somebody, we would climb into the car, she would get into the car, she'd get in her seat, she'd close the door. As soon as I would start to get into my seat and the car would get into gear, doors open and she's throwing herself out of the vehicle so people around her can see. The idea, look, a poor helpless little girl, and she was trying to get back to poor helpless little girl status. She was doing as many things as possible to cause hurt or harm or mental distress to the entire family. She's been with us for about 5 or 6 months at this point. And at this time, my boys are 6, 9, and 11. Natalia would find things that were important to them, like a Hot Wheel car. She'd hide them. She'd wait to be crossing the street. She would throw them into the street and make sure the boys saw it. She was baiting my kids to run in the traffic so they'd get run over. I can't put in the words the everyday abject horror that we had to go through and live with.
And there certainly was like a lot of fear. Like, what if Natalia actually harms one of us?
A couple of weeks after that,
I came home from work. She had been taking knives out of the kitchen and hiding them in her room.
Under her bed. I go upstairs. Christine has the knife. It was a big butcher knife.
Natalia was hoarding knives in her room, had like intentions to attack us.
I asked Natalia, did you have this under your bed? Yes. What were you gonna do with it? I'm going to kill you in your sleep.
Michael and Christine weren't very vocal about the stuff at first with Natalia until it got overwhelming. And that's when Christine came and told me and sat down on my front porch with Wesley and Ethan and shared what was going on. Christine was crying. She was very upset, saying that Natalia wasn't who they thought she was. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, knives. She had knives in her room. The boys were like, yeah, this is really happening, yeah. Natalia's really doing that. This is the time when I backed away from them because I was just in so much shock from hearing this story. I went to Grace and said, you know what, we need to find some new friends to play with because I didn't want to have anything to do with that little girl. I didn't want anything to do with her. She wasn't welcome in our house. I don't want to try killing my daughter or me.
Michael really only told me by the time they'd gone through all these things that he was afraid. Whether that meant he was afraid of what she would do or could do or any of that, I knew that there was fear.
Absolutely, we reached out to the adoption agency as we were noticing all of these issues and irregularities. They were unhelpful. I was lost. I was getting no help from anybody anywhere. So we went through a few therapists.
Trying to find guidance, trying to figure out the right diagnosis.
Go inside.
It was really the third or fourth therapist we got to that seemed to understand what we're telling them and seemed to have Natalia's number. She pulled Christine and I aside and said, you're all in extreme danger. At that point in time, we already knew that. We had been living that. So we were not stunned at the danger, but we're stunned at the diagnosis. We were expecting a severe mental disorder that was out of her control. We were expecting schizophrenia. We were expecting something. We were expecting her to say she hears voices. She's hearing commands tell her to do this stuff. So she tells us she's a sociopath. She does things that you and I would consider crazy, but it's a plan. She knows what she's doing. She's in control of doing it. It's not a diagnosis where she's out of control and she can really be helped. She's a sociopath. That was the first moment from a clinician that we heard, you can't help here.
You're 12 years old and you're, just down the hallway is someone who's living with you who actually wants to harm you. That's a very scary feeling. And I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia. I just was scared.
There was one night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, we hear a noise. Christine nudges me and wakes me up. And I jump up. I go looking for the noise. Can't find it here. I can't find it there. I go down the hall in Natalia's room, open the door. It's dark. She's standing dead center in the middle of the room with a blank look on her face. Natalia, what are you doing? I'm waiting. Waiting for what? For you to go to sleep.
It's absolutely shocking to hear that an adopted child was threatening the lives of her siblings and her parents. I mean, just really disturbing to hear.
One night, sleep in bed, everything's fine, hear a little noise. I open my eyes, and Natalia is standing at the foot of the bed with a knife in her hand. What's going on? How much danger are we really in here?
Was I about to die? Was Christine about to die? Were my kids about to die?
I open my eyes, and Natalia is standing at the foot of the bed with a knife in her hand.
No idea what she's thinking. No idea what's going through her head.
I'm frozen. Natalia, what are you doing? Nothing. Why are you in here? I don't know. But it's just this blank look. There's no emotion. There's no feeling going through her. It's just this blankness. I don't know what I'm doing here. Natalia, put that down right now. And she did. Natalia, go to your room right now. And she did. But obviously, I sat outside her door for the rest of the night to make sure she didn't come out, she didn't emerge, something didn't happen.
Knowing that somebody like Natalia was living 2 doors down from me and has supposedly tried to kill her family, thinking that there's a killer in my neighborhood is mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. You think you know everybody. You've lived here for so long. You don't know everybody. You don't know anybody. You don't know anything. But it's scary. It's very scary.
So we start going through lots of therapy. You start going through plausible deniability. You start to try to convince yourself she wasn't meaning to harm us. This might seem strange. We never, ever said, let's take her back. We thought we could help things. We thought we could improve things. We wake up one morning and Natalia is suddenly in happy, I want to be part of the family mode again. And she asks Christine, is there anything I can do to help? You're doing the dishes. Can I help do the dishes? So Christine says, sure, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, Natalia. So Natalia gets on a stool and starts rinsing the dishes off in the sink. Christine goes to the other room for a moment and she's got a coffee cup sitting on the counter. Christine comes back in. Christine screams. I come racing downstairs.
See a bottle of Pledge. I see Christine's coffee cup, and Christine tried to drink it and instantly tasted Pledge. Cleaning supplies had been poured into Christine's coffee cup. Christine is screaming at her, Natalia, why did you do this?
And she just says, plain old straight out, I'm trying to kill you. I'm trying to poison you.
Yeah, I certainly have that instinct now. Like, I can't really share a drink with someone unless I've, seen the surface of it the entire time. Well, it's probably rooted in this fear that Natalia is coming to, poison us. I guess I haven't really figured out a way to reconcile it, if I'm being honest. I'm still working through it. I think I might need a minute. I'm sorry.
Natalia, what are you doing? What is it? Why? Like what thought? Well, what happens when you have them?